Hi Garrett, and welcome to my video for assignment 1 of EDLM 580 at Royal Roads University. For this assignment, Personal Experience in the Supervision, I wanted to create a video reflecting on the 3 principles I've had over my career and how they've influenced me and shaped me. Welcome to A Tale of 3 Principles. I hope you enjoy. I was 25 when I first started teaching. After a year of substitute teaching throughout the district, I basically became the in-house sub for one school, which was strangely enough the school that I graduated high school from. After 3 years of subbing, I received my first full-time contract at the same school. It is during these times that I worked under Principal A, my first principal. Principal A was a well-known force throughout the district. She was known as a strict disciplinarian and was often brought in to study the course of a school that was seen to be floundering. She had taken over from the prior principal under who I graduated, and who was a kind man but also known for being a bit of a pushover. Principal A, however, was no pushover and believed in rigid standards and expectations. Principal A was an autocratic leader in many ways. She gave short, strict instructions and expected them to be followed by all. On one of my first days substituting, I dressed in a sweater and jeans. Her remark to me that morning was that teachers that don't have permanent positions should wear dress shirts and slacks. Her handling of evaluation was similar, following the directive control discussed in Sullivan and Glantz. She once walked into my room, told me that it was too noisy and that I needed to put the desks back into rows because my small groups were not working. My curriculum was handed to me at the beginning of the year because all teachers taught in the same course packages. For Principal A, she identified problems and then solved them all on her own. Principal A. As a new teacher, I was experiencing difficulties that I didn't necessarily have the knowledge, expertise, or confidence to resolve on my own or collaborating. Having to not plan curriculum removed also much of the stress new teachers feel. Wearing a shirt and tie helped me establish a more formal relationship with both peers and students. In a short period of time, I did become a better teacher. However, none of that allowed me to reflect on how to be a better teacher or leader. If teaching practices are influenced by both schools' working conditions and capacity for innovations, then my continued growth here would have been severely impacted under this leadership. Not only were the school's working conditions challenging, innovations being discouraged as I couldn't even plan what I taught. The following year, I moved schools, taking a position at a small independent school in Victoria. The principal, B, brought me on board at a brief, informal interview. She was a much different leader than the last. Short and enthusiastic, she was a very charismatic leader and was well loved by staff and students. Though we were in an urban setting, many of the leadership needs of our small independent schools mirrored those of rural schools. Our community was very tightly knit, emphasizing family, peace, respect, and caring. The school is a hub of many families' social activities, and Principal B worked hard to maintain this. She built strong rapport, knew every parent at the school, took time to talk to key figures of the parent groups and staff committees, and had a heavy hand in all school planning. To accomplish all this, she regularly spent 12 hours a day at school and can often be found there on weekends as well. However, she placed staff welfare very highly and ensured that she touched base with every one staff member at least once a month. There were some challenges working under her. Principal B had been at my school for 20 years by the time I had joined, and as such felt very comfortable giving advice on most matters. As a result, most of her supervision could be described as a limited form of collaborative nature. She loved to talk through things, elicit information, and help plan out the next steps. Teachers were welcome to offer their input, but the culture of the school took top priority, and she would not let anyone risk changing it. Teachers were not encouraged to solve the problems in a self-directed fashion. She wanted continual input. She was a visionary leader with a very clear concept of where the school belonged. She also had a tendency to micromanage. To her, distributed leadership consisted of offering people the opportunity to take on tasks she had felt she could let go of, which were not that many. I often felt as if I was being given tasks to do, but no input into the direct vision of the school unless I was in alignment with her vision. School leadership also worked under few guidelines. Our board was not a strong influence on the leadership team. There was no staff handbook, staff contracts were individually negotiated, and Principal B had no formal leadership training, having been promoted as a teacher. As a result, supervision and evaluation relied heavily on her intuition rather than any training policy, reminiscent of supervision by inspection. Though staff morale was generally high, some staff felt undervalued or overlooked as their colleagues made more money than them for no discernible reason. Principal B retired and brought her protege, Principal B, on board. Like B, Principal C had no formal training and relied on his 2 years shadowing his predecessor as a vice principal. At the time of Principal C's promotion, our board also took a much more active role and cited the need for policy and guidelines. Principal C has continued to emphasize personal connections to both students, parents, and staff, but has taken a more realistic approach to time commitments. Under Principal C, I've experienced a much more collaborative nature to supervision. He also supports staff to establish PLCs and believe that a school leader should try to focus on encouraging collaborative relationships among teachers and positive relationships between teachers and students in the school. Principal C also allows for more autonomy in classroom activities and is supportive of staff innovation and development. Principal C is a proponent of true distributed leadership and has created many committees with staff to help form policies and contribute to the school in meaningful ways. A grid system for determining staff salaries is a result of one such committee that has helped ease tension among staff. As a more experienced teacher now, I appreciate the ability to contribute more to the direction of the school and to work with my colleague in meaningful ways. Under Principal C does have some challenges. He does struggle with many of the problems consistent with novice principals. He is often late to meetings, having overbooked. He often has to be reminded twice to complete paperwork, and there's a large onus on teachers to understand ministry policies as he's still unfamiliar with much of it. Although he is a very intelligent and well-meaning individual, his lack of formal training probably causes him and our school some challenges. However, he does fully recognize that principals can no longer act alone and is dedicated to working with staff in a collaborative method to ensure positive teacher and student growth. I've learned many important things from my 3 principals. Principal A has shown me that although the new teachers may need more guidance, autocratic leadership removes the opportunity for innovation and independent growth, and therefore must be seen for the outdated leadership style it is. Principal B has shown me that although building rapport and strong relationships is a vital aspect of leadership, using your own intuition as a guide to policy creates inequality and does not promote staff harmony. Additionally, if successful education systems are those that promote leadership at all levels, then by discouraging it, you are impeding your own success. Even though they both do it in different ways, the tendencies for both Principal A and B to monopolize leadership opportunities is harmful to their whole system. Principal C has shown me the importance of collaboration and that by sharing leadership, including the valuing the input of others, you create mutual accountability and ownership of school goals. Both B and C have also illustrated the challenges of not having formal training that most principals do rely on. Career, these will become part of my non-negotiables that I want to see both in myself and in my colleagues ideally. It is my hope that my future is full of collaboration, innovation, and rising to new challenges. Thank you.